24/7 to protect you, it's a total unsung hero of your health. But odds are you've probably never even heard of it. So today, we're going to pull back the curtain on cysteine and its really powerful supplement form, NAC, to show you how they keep your most critical systems running like clockwork.
So let me just start by asking you this. What powers your body's master detoxification system? Think about it for a second. The answer is a substance that is completely 100% dependent on the star of today's show. And by the end of this, you'll know exactly what it is and why it's so incredibly important. All right, so to really get the big picture, we have to start small. Let's meet the foundational molecule itself, the unsung hero amino acid, cysteine. So what exactly is cysteine? Well, it's what we call a semi-essential amino acid. Semi-essential just means your body can usually make what it needs from another amino acid, methionine. But here's the kicker. During times of illness or serious stress, your body's demand for it just skyrockets, and suddenly you have to get it from your diet. It becomes absolutely essential right when you need it the most. The secret sauce to cysteine's power is all in its structure. You see, it contains a special sulfur group. This little group lets cysteine form something called disulfide bonds, and you can think of these like incredibly strong molecular staples. They literally hold proteins together in their proper 3D shape. I'm talking about the keratin that gives your hair, your skin, and your nails their strength. But its biggest superpower is being the key ingredient for something even more important. And that brings us to what is, without a doubt, cysteine's most vital job, its connection to a molecule you might have heard of called glutathione. To put it simply, glutathione is one of the most important molecules in your entire body. I mean, it's not just an antioxidant, it is the master antioxidant. It's the master detoxifier. It is the primary protector of every single cell you have. So how does your body make this master molecule? Well, the recipe is surprisingly simple. It just takes 3 amino acids. First, you start with glutamate, then you add our star ingredient, cysteine, and finally, you throw in some glycine. Put them all together, and bam, you've got glutathione. But here's the catch. Of those 3 ingredients, cysteine is what we call the rate-limiting factor. Just imagine an assembly line making cars. It doesn't matter if you have a mountain of tires and a warehouse full of engines. If you only have a handful of steering wheels, you can only build a handful of cars. In this scenario, cysteine is the steering wheel. Your body's entire production of glutathione can't go any faster than the cysteine you have available. Okay, so this raises a really important question. If cysteine is the bottleneck for our body's master protector, how can we get more of it when we need it most? Well, the answer is an upgrade called NAC. Now, you're probably thinking, okay, simple enough. If cysteine is the bottleneck, why don't we just take cysteine pills? It seems logical, right? But there's a hidden problem. The problem is that cysteine, all by itself, is kind of fragile. It breaks down and oxidizes way too easily. So scientists got clever and created N-acetylcysteine, or NAC for short. They basically attached a small acetyl group to this cysteine molecule, and this one little addition acts like a protective shield. It makes NAC way more stable and much, much easier for your body to absorb and use. Let's put them side by side because this makes it super clear. You get cysteine from food like meat and eggs, but as a supplement, it's just too unstable and your body only absorbs a moderate amount. NAC, on the other hand, is made in a lab to be super stable with really high absorption. Its entire purpose, its reason for being, is to be a superior delivery system, to get into your body, turn back into cysteine, and totally supercharge your glutathione production. Okay, we've talked a lot of science, but what does this actually do for you in the real world? Let's get to the payoff. NAC's powerful real-world benefits. First up, and maybe its most famous role, is as a powerful shield for your liver. I mean, when your body's main filtration system is under attack, NAC is literally the first line of defense. The most dramatic example of this happens every single day in hospital emergency rooms. An overdose of acetaminophen, that's the drug in Tylenol, completely wipes out the liver's glutathione stores. When that shield goes down, a highly toxic byproduct starts building up and just destroying liver cells. The official go-to medical antidote? You guessed it, a high-dose IV of NAC. It floods the body with cysteine, lets the liver rapidly pump out new glutathione, which then neutralizes the toxin and literally saves the person's life. It's incredible. But it doesn't stop with the liver. NAC also provides amazing support for another critical system that filters the outside world, your lungs. In the lungs, NAC acts as what's called a mucolytic. It's a fancy word. but it just means it's a mucus thinner. And how it works is brilliant. Remember those disulfide bonds that hold proteins together? Well, thick, sticky mucus is jam-packed with them. NAC gets in there and just breaks those bonds apart. That thins the mucus, making it so much easier to clear from your airways. This is why it's such a game changer for helping people with conditions like COPD and chronic bronchitis breathe easier.
But the benefits don't even stop at the neck. This next one might surprise you. Emerging research is showing that NAC is also a powerful modulator for your mind. See, NAC has this rare ability to cross the super protective blood-brain barrier. And once it's inside, it does two really important things. First, it boosts that protective glutathione to shield your neurons from damage. And second, it helps balance glutamate, a key neurotransmitter that, when it gets overactive, is linked to a whole host of issues. This amazing 1-2 punch is why researchers are so excited about it in studies for things like OCD, depression, and even bipolar disorder. Okay, so with all these incredible benefits, the obvious question is, how do I actually apply this? So let's wrap this all up with a quick and easy user's guide to cysteine and NAC. First things first, you always want to start with your diet. That's your foundation. The best sources are high-quality proteins like chicken, turkey, and eggs. Whey protein is another great one. If you're more plant-based, you're going to want to focus on legumes like lentils and chickpeas, plus nuts and seeds. And definitely don't forget sulfur-rich veggies like garlic, onions, and broccoli. They help support the whole system. So how much do you actually need from your diet? Well, the target is a combined total for both methionine and cysteine. And for an average 70 kilogram or about 154-pound adult, that number comes out to around 1.3 grams per day. Now, the good news is, for most people who eat a balanced protein-rich diet, hitting this foundational target is totally achievable. But what if you're looking for those extra therapeutic benefits we just talked about, that antioxidant, liver, and respiratory support? Well, for supplementation with NAC, the typical wellness dose is usually somewhere between 600 and 1,200 milligrams a day. A lot of people split that into 2 doses just to keep their levels stable. This is the range that's most commonly used to really give that glutathione production a boost. But, and this is super important, we have to talk about safety. While NAC is generally very well tolerated, it can cause some digestive upset in some people. More seriously, it can interact with certain medications, like nitroglycerin, and it should be used with caution if you have asthma. The bottom line, and you've heard me say this 1,000 times, is that it is absolutely essential to talk with your healthcare provider before you start taking any new supplement. So, we'll end on this thought. From the structure of your hair, to fueling your body's master antioxidant, to literally saving lives in the ER, cysteine and NAC are true biological powerhouses. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? Could this simple, overlooked molecule actually be one of the most powerful health tools we have?